speaking of movies that aren't going to land an A-, we're talking about the 2009 film, One Piece film, Strong World, as requested by Nico.
That's right, folks. One Piece film Strong World. This is a film featuring the Straw Hat Pirates on their way to save the East Blue. But then, Shiki, an infamous pirate, appears and kidnaps Nami, so the crew needs to bust their way through Shiki's animal abominations until they're finally able to confront the man himself, and then proceed to lose. But then they win in the end. Dylan! Where are you ranking this one?
Fun fact.
Yeah.
You piece of shit. Fuck you, Nico.
He knows that I'm not going to give it a good rating, so he wants to hear it.
Fun fact, this is the first One Piece film to have the manga writer Ichiro Oda as a writer on it.
Dude, I was also going to mention that. Dylan, where are you ranking it?
Wait. The manga writer doesn't do any of the anime or the other movies? This is the only one?
That's very normal, Dylan.
He's too busy writing manga, dummy.
Listen, I'm just curious. What did I gave it an A-, I think.
Nice, I also gave an A-.
I gave it close to that. I gave it a B+.
Dude, that's insane. I'm higher than Nico. I'm at a flat A.
Holy smokes.
Very nice. Yeah, so it's very normal for manga creators and shit, mangaka, as you may refer to them as, to just, like, not work on, like, the anime or movies or anything like that. So, yeah, this is the 10th One Piece movie.
The 10th one?
I believe, yes, this is the 10th one. I have only been picking the ones that are considered good. You can tell when he starts writing them, because after this, he writes basically all of them, and pretty much all those are on my list. Only 2 of the previous 10 were on mine, so...
Which I'm assuming are the 2 we've already watched, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We've seen... Yeah.
Dude, Nico, I have to ask, why did you think I'd like Frankie?
Because he's just the big, bombastic, muscly guy who works on machines and such.
I get, but the problem is he doesn't really do anything.
He doesn't do anything in this movie, I guess. You know, in other facets of One Piece, he does many crazy, wacky things. His big claim to fame is he has half a star tattooed on each of his biceps, and he combines them and does a cool pose and yells super.
What does that accomplish?
Nothing.
Oh.
He just does it.
I'm gonna be honest. I know I didn't give it a bad rating, but I think this is another Evangelion moment where I think I'd care about the plot of the movie and the characters more and understand the camaraderie if I actually understood it at a more foundational level. I also just don't fuck with the whole protagonist loses 2 times before they come together and ultimately win in some cheap way. This one actually didn't have a cheap win at the least, like the other ones did. I just don't really like how the plot progresses through these One Piece movies personally, but that's just me. I might just be too fucking basic shonen for One Piece, I guess, so call me a fucking hater, but...
I also don't even know what you mean by that. That's very normal. What are you talking about?
I don't know, I feel like the way that they come to a resolution in the One Piece movies is very strange. I don't know.
I fuck with Dylan. I also don't like the conclusions of these movies a lot of the time. I feel like they pulled it out of their ass a decent amount, which Nico's going to hard disagree with, but maybe that's just because I don't... Maybe that's because I just don't fully understand Luffy, potentially.
Yeah,
but, I would disagree with one point with Dylan, though. I feel like this movie does do a good job of standing on its own. Like, they have a lot of characters. A lot of them don't really do a whole ton of anything, but I still feel like they all have pretty definitive personalities for the most part. And, I mean, this also is just like a separate thing from the anime and manga. So, like, all the antagonists and shit are new, so who fucking cares? It's just a bunch of, like, quirky, fun characters doing quirky, fun stuff, and I don't feel like we need a ton of background context for it. Like, I enjoy this film. I get a B+. It's pretty good. I think it's a little... Like, I would say this, from, like, an artistic standpoint, I think this is better than the last one we watched, the Island one. But, I think it's also a little bit weaker on the plot one. I didn't feel nearly as much, like, emotion with their struggle against the enemy with this one as well, which they were trying to with, like, the parallels of, like, the fucking East Blue and Nami's Hum or whatever. I couldn't care less about that.
Yeah.
But I think it's just a fun movie with good animation.
You know, and sometimes all it really needs to be. I feel like a big part, though, that no one has mentioned yet, is I feel like the world building, as well as just the creature designs in general in this film, are very well done. Like, just this land that they've suddenly found themselves in is super cool, and just all these massive fucking crazy creatures that they're constantly having to contend with are sick as fuck, too.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'd say to that, though, is, like, being unfamiliar with the anime or the manga, and the fact that this is just like an island of experimented animals or whatever. I mean, I just thought this was normal. I didn't know this was world building. I don't know what's supposed to be world building and what's not supposed to be world building. So, like, without context, I don't really know how to get much out of that.
I feel like the characters reacting like, dude, what's with all these crazy animals should have tipped you off there, buddy.
I just figured they were referencing, like, their behavior.
Okay. Yeah, the main thing that I like about this movie more than the previous One Piece movies is I find it a lot more exciting. I think there's a lot more action in this one, which really helps keep me engaged. And yeah, the kooky creature designs and shit I liked quite a bit.
I thought it was more endearing. I think that's probably why I like this one more than the other ones.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like we get a decent amount, like, obviously we're not spending a ton of time with most of the Straw Hats. That's kind of just typical One Piece for you, though. But we at least get, like, some little moment for each and every one of them that gives you a decent amount of idea of, like, what they're like, as well as just, like, some cool little fight scene that they get as well. Like, even fucking Chopper, who isn't, like, a massive fighter, does get a big moment when they first fight Shiki, where he just, like, they all build up to him, like, fucking blasting him, which was pretty cool. And, just the antagonist in general, Shiki, I thought he was fun. He was a very fun, wacky dude, and yet at the same time still fairly intimidating as well, because his power is fucking nuts.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, is, like, for the most part, when I see, like, the villains that these people go against, I in my mind, I'm like, how is there... Like, I get by the end of the movie that the protagonists are supposed to win, but in the moment, I'm thinking, how in the hell is that even possible? Like, this guy's power is far superior to anything they can do. There's no way this guy could win, and I think that's what ultimately defeats it in the end, is, like, I'm supposed to have a suspension of disbelief, is what I was trying to say.
I like how creative they are with the main villain's power.
Yeah.
Except for, like, there is one not so creative thing where they're like, oh, can you make us fly? He's like, no, it only works on myself. I'm like, why not just explain it as he's making his clothes levitate?
Make their shoe and touch their shoes and make their shoes levitate. I don't know.
Yeah.
I also don't really see how levitation equates to conjuration. Maybe I'm not understanding something about his power, but, like,
each individual atom in there he is controlling the gravity of, which allows him to shape it and shit.
I think that's a bit of a stretch of the imagination.
I mean, it's how it's working.
It's already happened, so there's no arguing that it can't. I'm just saying it's hard to believe.
Occasionally, every now and then you get a devil fruit where it does something very different from what you think it should be capable of. Like in the most recent arc I read, Dressrosa, the first big arc of One Piece, there's a character who her whole thing is that she can just see literally everything within like 100-mile radius or some shit like that. But also at some point she just randomly like makes these giant glass whales appear out of nowhere. I don't know why she can do that. It's supposed to be part of her devil fruit for some reason. She never does it again after that. I don't know what the deal is, but you gotta swing with the punches sometimes.
It's a reference to looking glasses, dude.
I guess so.
What does that have to do with whales?
I don't know, dude, because it's a pirate anime, so it has to be whales, because whales are pirate things.
Oh, okay.
I haven't really watched like much of the anime whatsoever. I watched a single arc, and I gotta say, it's always funny every time to see Nami in motion, because these character designs just do not look like they're supposed to be moving, and Nami is just ridiculous.
I remember one scene of her like sprinting, and she does like a slight turn, and her waist just completely disappears.
Yeah. It's very
Speaking of Nami, though, they were not holding back, bro. It was like every fucking scene with her had some sort of sexualization going on. It was pretty funny.
Oh, yeah.
Wood.
Okay.
Yeah, she's very silly. And another big aspect for this film, dude, that scene where they fucking busted into that big meeting to get Nami back.
Yeah.
They were dripped the fuck out. Hot damn.
Dripped and strapped, in fact, dude. That scene was actually pretty fucking kick-ass. They're like, yeah, you guys aren't gonna make it out of here. And they're like, surrounded, and then they just pull out guns and blow everybody the fuck up, and I thought that was pretty kick-ass, so...
Yeah, that was sick as hell.
Yeah. I also like how One Piece like goes out of their way specifically to give each Straw Hat their like individual fight scene to show how they are superior and special in their unique way. I think that's pretty. I don't know if it's funny. I just think it's interesting, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. Here's one of my favorite fun facts for you guys. So, during Sanji's fight with the gorilla where he's trying to get Robin back, you see that his foot lights on fire, right?
Yeah.
So, Sanji doesn't have a devil fruit. And so it's strange that that's something he's capable of doing in the first place, but also, the fire just doesn't hurt him either. And so the explanation that Oda has given for this is that while his foot may burn hot, his heart burns hotter.
Wait, so is the implication that everybody else has a devil fruit?
No.
Okay.
Only fucking Luffy, Robin, and Chopper. Oh, and also Brook. They have devil fruits.
I don't remember which one Brook is.
He's the skeleton.
Oh, yeah, I thought he was really fucking cool, too. They take his, like, swordsman, like, the fucking samurai swordsman thing where they click their sheaths shut. I think they take that to a goofy extreme, but I think it's pretty cool either way. I think he's a fun character.
I think he's fun as well, but also I was watching, I'm like, they got a second sword character?
Dude.
But luckily, Brook doesn't really fight that much. He is, like, a second swordsman. His main contribution here is that he's like the musician of the group. That's his whole thing. And so he'll use like weird spirit powers on people because he's undead or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm pretty sure Brook is just fucking Whis from Dragon Ball.
Oh, his voice?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, gotcha. I was like, I don't know what kind of connections you're making here as to how he's Whis.
Well, and based on the conversation we had, the general chat of how limited we are with English voice actors, it kind of just I was sitting here, I was about to be like, yeah, this character was this character, and it's just fruitless at this point considering how much they share. So I'm not going to do that. There were a couple fairy tale voice actors though. Just know that.
That's fun.
Any other thoughts?
No.
I will say, apparently there was also a 10-minute, like, special movie tie-in for this movie that just, like, delves more into, like, Shiki's past with, like, the Navy and his relationship with Goldie Roger, whatever the fuck. I don't think it was that important to this film at all, though. I feel like we got a decent idea of what he was all about, which was fun. But yeah, that's another thing you could check out if you really want to. I personally don't have much interest in it, though, so I think I may be sticking with an A- for this film.
Sick. Yeah, me too. I think it'd be a disservice to this movie to rate it lower. I think I've been far too harsh on the One Piece movies.
Speaking of disservices, I'm going to rate it lower than that at a B+, so I'm not changing.
And I'm going to be sticking with an A.
Holy smokes.
Wow. I feel like we're all awfully consistent. It's like very rare we ever change our initial ranks since we started doing this.
We've done it a few times here and there.
That's what I'm saying, but it's really rare.
Yeah.
We all know why we started doing this, Jackson. Let's not get it twisted.
Because it's like a fun little thing we can do together, yeah. And it lands at an A- overall.
Wow.